So I have been out of high school for a little bit at this point, and I've been seeing videos all over my YouTube recommended page of commentary YouTubers talking about their times in high school and all the stories they have from it and all the situations that would go on there. And these videos really got me thinking about my time back in high school and how there was a lot of stuff that I just personally don't understand to this day. Like, I look back on some of these things and I'm just like, man, what the heck was that all about? And since it's around that time where people are going back to school, you know, maybe you're watching this video and you're going into high school or you're going back to high school, you know, maybe you can relate to some of these things. I have no idea, but these were just some things that, again, I never understood about high school. The first thing I never understood was the school bathrooms, or more specifically, why kids were so determined to make it such a miserable experience. I mean, the bathrooms already smell like an anime convention, so it's already a place you don't really want to be unless you're trying to skip class. But for some reason, a lot of kids just decided to trash the bathrooms and make them look like Kino der Toten from Black Ops 1. I remember walking into the bathrooms and either the soap dispenser or the soap would be stolen, so you couldn't even wash your hands properly. You got kids carving stuff into the toilet seats or the stalls or writing on the walls with a marker. And my personal favorite, walking into the stalls and seeing the aftermath of some kids' breakfast or lunch. I don't know what it was in my school, but for some reason some kids just refused to flush the toilets, which is freaking disgusting. I don't even get the point of this. Like, maybe they just wanted to leave a little surprise for some unfortunate soul to find, or maybe the toilet wasn't even working. I don't know, I never bothered to check. And then on top of this, you got the kids who skipped class to smoke weed or vape in the bathrooms, making it smell even worse than it already did. Like, sometimes you'd walk into the bathroom and you just get hit with this overwhelming scent of weed or whatever flavored vape they were using that day. And sometimes these kids would decide to hotbox the bathrooms and make it look like they just set off a smoke grenade. But the one thing that could make the school bathrooms a truly dreadful experience is if you had to take a dump. If you just had to pee, then you could go into the bathroom, do your business, and get out no problem. But if you had to take a crap, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for you. Because every time you chose to use the bathroom to take a dump, you always ran the risk of some kid walking in there and being like, "Hey yo, somebody's taking a dump!" And then they start banging on the stalls and trying to open the door and repeatedly asking you, hey, you taking a dump? You taking a dump in here? And just making it an all-in-all crappier experience, pun intended. Now, thankfully, this never happened to me, but I have heard stories of people being messed with when they're just trying to do their business and get out. And I never understood the point of this other than the kids trying to mess with you and just be douchebags overall. Like, if this ever happened to me, I would just be sitting there like, bro, I already don't want to be here doing this. Why do you have to make this an even worse experience? Now, moving on to the next thing I never understood. Why the heck did teachers punish the whole class for something one kid did? I remember this one time in my study hall class, one of the kids wrote something on the desk. I don't even remember what it was, but the teacher was unable to figure out who did it, so she made the whole class try and like testify and figure out who did it. But the problem was nobody was saying anything. We all just sat there quietly, and the teacher was just like, all right, nobody's leaving this classroom until one of you fesses up. But then as soon as the bell rang, we all just left. So I guess she never found out who was behind it. But this confused me every time it happened because I just never understood why teachers made the whole class suffer all because one kid acted up. I'm guessing the point of this was to make the kid who messed up feel guilty and confess so that way the whole class wouldn't get in trouble. But the thing is, this technique never worked because every time the teacher asked, okay, who did it, the whole class would stay quiet. And even when the teacher threatened to get the whole class in trouble, the students would double down and stay silent, so it never amounted to anything, which is why it always confused me every time teachers did it. Now, moving on to another thing I didn't understand about high school is why were some of the kids just such douchebags to the teachers? Now, I'm not talking about the class clowns, you know, those were fine. I'm talking about the kids who went out of their way to make the teachers' jobs more miserable. Like, teachers already get paid diddly squat and have to often work a second job just to afford rent and basic necessities, so their lives already aren't going that well. But then on top of this, you got the kids who just decide to act out and make the teachers' lives even more miserable. Like, at least with the class clowns, they do it to make class more fun and tolerable, but with these kids, they just do it because, again, they just want to see the teachers suffer. I get it if they just don't like the teacher for whatever reason, that's completely fine, but come on, man, they're just trying to do their jobs and go home. Like, why do you have to make it worse for them? Now, moving on to the final thing that I want to briefly talk about because I literally just remembered this. Why the heck did kids listen to music so loud through their headphones? If you want to listen to music during class, that's completely fine, but please do so at a comfortable volume to where the rest of the class can't hear it, because if I can hear you blasting Playboi Carti through your headphones, then I guarantee you can hear it as well. And if you can, can't, then you need to go see a doctor as soon as possible. This exact scenario played out so many times during high school that it's not even funny. The classroom is dead silent, we're all working on something, but then out of nowhere you just hear, and then the whole class would slowly turn and look at the kid who was doing it. It was so funny. But let me know down in the comments if there's some things you guys never understood about high school. These were just some things that I look back on and just think, what the heck was up with all that? But yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. So that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you for watching, and yeah, peace.